Alright, we're back with Game 5 of Major League Wingspan. Our opponent is I'm Just Hen. Let's throw up the spreadsheet here. Another US Midwest game. They're sitting at 3-6, and I'm not doing so great at 1-3 here. Hopefully we can pick up our second win. Game 4 was kind of a letdown. I was employing a Willy Wagtail that proceeded to flip up a White Stork and a Chihuahuan Raven for my opponent. They subsequently drew those cards and crushed me with it, resounding 120-98. So luck was not with me in that game, and I'm probably never playing Willy Wagtail again. So hopefully our luck turns around in this game and we can pull out our second win. We're going second here. Food in the personal supply for round 1 isn't terrible. We got American Robin and Magpie Lark in the tray. Some decent looking cards. Robin is probably going to go. My opponent going first. Might want to grab that. And we'll see what happens here, I guess. Alright, my opponent kept 2 birds. Standard food spread with the nectar. What do I got going on? Nothing great here. Another weirdo start. This is actually a pretty bad start. No good card draw birds. No real good forest food gaining birds. This could be a 5 food start. Closure builder. Discard a bird from your forest and put this bird in its place. If you do, lay 4 eggs on this bird and gain 2 cherries from the supply. So it looks like we have an enclosure builder path here. Chimney Swift could be my forest bird. Paired with the Avocet. Cassowary is a good bomb, but it's usually not good to keep bombs from your starting hand. 2 migrating birds in my starting hand, plus Emu, which is regarded as probably one of the worst cards in the game. So more than 50% of my hand is terrible cards. So let's see. Avocet, I think we're going to have to go with enclosure builder synergy here. Worm and a wheat. What's the bird feeder look like? 1 nectar. Oops. So yeah, I think that's our path forward going here. And let's see if we can make this work. All it takes is a little bit of luck to swing one way or another to really decide some of these starts. So just because it looks bad right now doesn't mean it can't swing in our favor a little bit later. Magpie Lark is an interesting bird. I honestly haven't been able to employ it that effectively. So there they did grab the Robin. Then we have Black Swan. Cassowary applies for that. And that's really it. So I think what I'm going to do... I don't want to draw cards. Let's get the Chimney Swift down. And that's going to send a signal to my opponent that maybe I didn't have a good start. Because that's usually not a bird that you lead with. Or ever even play, quite frankly. So next I'm going to want to gain food in order to get the Avocet down. There's the Robin down in the forest right away, so maybe they kept a card, a crummy card from their hand to tuck on the Robin. So we'll scoop up this nectar first, and that doesn't leave them a good position with the bird feeder. Now, do I want to move this to the grasslands? Could use that to gain a couple eggs right away. I think I will. Nice little synergy there. Gain my food, play the Avocet, lay some eggs, get the Swift back in the forest. Maybe draw some cards before I lay eggs. See if I don't have a forest bird I want to play here. Swan is a ground nest bird, but I don't have a ton of synergy with it yet. Common buzzard could be, or it is synergistic. Not necessarily the type of bird I want to draw and play though. Could go over the Swift, but I'm only gaining 1 point there. So my opponent gains food. They're probably going to want to gain food again to try to flip that bird feeder. So let's get our Avocet down, and then I'll draw cards. I don't know that I mind them spending another action on food. 3 cards in hand. Probably don't have a good wetland card drawing bird, which is why they leverage the Robin like this. So there's Flamingo. Choose one other player for each action cube on their wetlands. Tuck 1 card from your hand behind this bird, then draw an equal number of cards. Interesting. Don't see the Flamingo played too often. Goshawk. So looking forward to these round goals. The Buzzard does work for round 2 and round 4. Man, is that really the card I want to play though? So I'm lining up a lot of bonus card and round goal synergy here. I think I will take the Black Swan. Fairy Wren, not great. Really gonna need some extra cards here to feed to the Goshawk. So there they do flip the bird feeder. I could just draw a couple more cards here and feed them to the Goshawk. They scooped up the nectar. Let's draw some more cards. Peaceful Dove is good, and Whiteback Woodpecker is really good. So there we got some good luck on our side. I'm going to have to gain food here. I don't necessarily want to get rid of any of these cards. Maybe I draw cards again in order to have something to pitch to the gain food action. Probably a bird play coming here from my opponent. Spend this nectar. Red knot flips up in the tray. So my opponent getting some good mileage out of the Flamingo here. 3 activations left in the round. Bob White. Could be good. Yeah, I don't know that this cassowary is Really gonna pan out. There's a coal tit in the tray. I need to get the dove and the woodpecker down though and start just gaining a bunch of food. That's going to be my next few turns here, is just gaining a ton of food. And I'm kind of spoiled for card quality here. Opponent draws cards again, getting mileage out of their flamingo. Could take a rat here. I want a wheat. And I'm going to let the bobwhite go. Take a worm. Looks like we're just kind of playing chicken with eggs here. Opponent not taking the lay egg action at all, or playing a bird into their grasslands. They're just leaning on this flamingo. I've got 2, they've got 0 food. So if they want to win the wrong goal, they're going to gain food here. I have to get this woodpecker down, so this could wind up being a free 4 points for me. They've got so many cards. They can just keep hammering this flamingo and getting points and cycling cards. And that's what they did. Zero activations left in the round. They have no food. And then I'm going to go first here at the start of round 2 and be able to flip that bird feeder. Let's see what the tray gives us. Moltonis. I think I'm going to go for it. 3 rounds. Plenty of time to utilize it. Wedgetail is a good bomb. I can lay some eggs here. And then get the peaceful dove down. I mean, my opponent's going to have to lay eggs here eventually. They can keep playing chicken with the lay egg action all they want, but can't just keep tucking on their flamingo, but that's exactly what they're doing. So, Toei Crane. If they want to try to go for it, I mean, the R enclosure, I have so many cards I can play, and I think it's going to take them so long to get this combo online that it shouldn't be too much of a threat. So I'm going to flip the bird feeder here. Thankfully some nectar flips up for me. And I'm going to take a worm or a wheat here. Let's take a worm. Moltoni has to go down this round. Let's actually take the wheat. So their flamingo is only tucking one card now. So they must really have some bad luck here, if they haven't found something they want to play yet. We have to keep an eye on platform nests. Our star nest on the Swift is going to come in nicely for that. Finally we get an egg. Just in time to play the Peaceful Dove. My opponent discarding a card, likely to get their second egg. Here comes their column 2 bird now. We'll see what that is. There's food. They're going to get 1 nectar. So Moltoni's has to go down. Got a lot of good bombs here coming up. Red Knot does not qualify for Black Swan. They gained food. I just realized this is the 3rd game now that I've played with Moltoni's Warbler. Such a good card. So now I need eggs. I'm going to load up on the worms here. Spend the wheat on an egg. And we'll take a rat. Unfortunately, no nectar. My opponent could flip the bird feeder here if they wanted to. But they really need to start making some plays here, building out an engine. Because we're closing in on the midpoint of the game and they only have 2 birds on the board. We have twice as many birds on the board. And this Moltoni's will allow us to ramp into many more birds. So there they only got 1 nectar on the reroll, so this bird feeder is being very stingy to us. I think I'll throw down the Moltoni's next. Then I can lay eggs to cover all my activations for the Moltoni. And then I'm going to want to gain food in order to play a bird at the end of the round. So my opponent gained food again, scooping up the nectar. Let's throw down Moltoni. We'll use 1 nectar. That's probably the strongest flamingo I've ever seen. 9 tucks on it. Very interesting. We have to be mindful of the round goal here. We have 2 platform nests. I think I am going to let this cassowary go. Red-winged parrot. Give 1 nectar from the supply to another player if you do lay 2 eggs on this bird or gain 2 from the bird feeder. That's risky. They don't have any nectar to give. Wouldn't mind that rat, and I could flip the bird feeder. I'm getting a 3rd food off my woodpecker. No eggs here, but we do get another nectar. And now I have to take the lay egg action to appease my Moltoni. And then I can drop. So they rerolled the bird feeder and got 0 nectar. That's pretty devastating. So I'm going to lay these eggs, 1 on the dove and 1 on the swift. And even if I play a bird and spend an egg, they have no platform nests. So as long as I have 1, I'll be doing alright. I think the wedgetail will go into the forest. Could go into the grasslands as well. They got one worm on deck. So the wedgetail, where am I going to put this? It would be really nice to get access to 3 food dice here in column 5. So they gained food. I have to lay eggs here. I will only lay 2. I want to keep this food. I think I'm more incentivized to just gain food more than eggs. Especially if I pick up a couple more off the avocet. So I will play the wedgetail into the forest. And we get 5 unanswered points there. That's pretty great. Nothing amazing in the tray. Condor's a decent bonus card play, kinda when you're desperate for something. I've had that come in clutch a couple times in the past. Waxwing can be good. My opponent does have excess cards. Wonder if they will grab that and employ that. One nectar on the reroll for my opponent. I wonder if they hand it to me. And then they can get 2 eggs without having to take the lay egg action and hand me an egg. Interesting use of the parrot here. I don't think I see this played very much. Or he could just gain 2 food from the bird feeder. But it's kind of a crummy bird feeder with the fish and rats in here, so I suspect that he's just going to lay the eggs. Thinking about it. There we see Coal Tit. My opponent pushing real hard for this forest engine. Right now their flamingo is disabled because I haven't drawn any cards yet. So it's looking like we're in a pretty good position here. Anything can happen yet, but... And then the round 3 goal being total birds. Moltoni definitely helps with that. There's another bird feeder flip there. There, they handed me the nectar. So they took the extra food. Yeah, I think I am going to let this cassowary go. What's in the tray? Make sure nothing great popped up. So they took the condor. Thecla's lark. Not crazy. We already got peaceful dove. So cassowary can go away. Take a worm. I should probably take a wheat here. Miss on the eagle. Get an egg off the dove. And we get a nectar off the bird feeder. We'll leave the wheat behind in case I can grab that again. Maybe I can grab that wheat for the dove. I think I'm going to play the red knot next, get that extra card. See what option that puts in front of me. Then I can draw cards. We're in a lead on the nectar battles here, but we've got low numbers, so my opponent can swing this around real quick if they get a good reroll on the bird feeder. And we get another nectar. And they took the eggs this time. So I have 5 activations left. I do have a reroll on the bird feeder in front of me. So my opponent is probably... If I leave that bird feeder like that, they're just going to gain food again. So I could go for the food. One nectar. Take another rat. Actually, yeah, we'll take the rat. Come on, eagle. That's a hit. Miss on the dove. Let's take the worm. Yeah, this bird feeder's being real stingy. I can discard some of this excess food for another egg. Gonna want to get this goshawk down eventually. Got 2 more enclosure birds coming for 4 points on the bonus card. Right now we're sitting at 1 bird that has synergy with Black Swan. So there's Calfair and Condor. So I'm going to get down on that crummy column 1 of the grasslands there. So let's throw down the red knot now. Let's just use 1 nectar. What do we get here? 3-point diet specialist, so Black Swan will get us to max points here. Pretty great. And let's see what we get off the top of the deck. Belzerio is good. Silver Eye is a really cool card, but I don't want to hand out nectar to my opponent. I love this card against the Automa. Good bonus card bird. Good Star Nest. Lines up with our enclosure builder as well. So we have 2 more enclosure builder birds coming up. We would need 1 more in order to max that one out. There's a hooded Warbler bomb from my opponent. So my opponent is putting good pressure on the round goal. That Condor comes in really handy for that, being a cheap bird. 0 food. 3 activations left in the round. I need to draw cards and lay eggs. So let's draw some cards here. Little Penguin's good. Wattlebird is not great, but it's not terrible having a bit of tucking fodder here with this goshawk around. So now we've appeased our Moltoni for the wetlands activation. And the penguin has a wild wingspan, so it has synergy with the Black Swan. And it has a Star Nest, so it has synergy with Enclosure Builder. 3 food costs, we're going to max that out with these cards that we have. Opponent flips the bird feeder and grabs 1 nectar. Wonder if they hand it to us. My opponent putting together a pretty solid forest here. thinking pretty hard about it. Debating on whether they want to hand me that nectar for 2 eggs or more food, maybe. They got good food. They're gonna take the eggs? They do. So my opponent doing a good job of avoiding giving me eggs from my Avocet. 2 activations left in the round. I have to lay eggs. And I have 4 nectar to burn off before the end of the round. So I will spend 1 nectar on an egg. Leaving me 3 left to play probably Little Penguin. Could go with the Swan as well. So my next 2 activations. So I got 1 left. I can play a bird. Burn off 1 egg here. Could play Vireo into the forest. I could also just use 1 food, 1 card on the Goshawk in order to unlock column 5 here. Get even more food. Opponent draws cards. Now that they can get a tuck on their Flamingo. So now, what do I want to do? I think I will play the Vireo into the grasslands. I'll use 2 worms here. Let's burn off our ground nest. And we're pulling an 8-point mechanical engineer. Pretty great. And now the Moltonis will throw down the Little Penguin, delivering 3 nectar into the wetlands. And that should be the lead on the wetland nectar points. We win the round goal. And we're already 6-0 on the round 4 goal. Butcher Bird is pretty great. Does help with the round goal. So it might be a little late for the Butcher Bird. So I have to draw some cards. So we've only got 1 more bird coming for Diet Specialist. We're already maxed out there. Maxed out on Mechanical. So we need another ground nest. And we have that in the Black Swan. So let's draw some cards here. See what options are in front of us. Nothing great. But, Silver Lining. We have prime tucking fodder for the Goshawk. And let's see what Little Penguin does. Absolute whiff. Bad Penguin. So I have 2 eggs. My opponent can flip the bird feeder here for nectar. So there's Willet. That's probably a bonus card play. It does apply to the wrong goal as well. So I even have an extra card. I could even discard a rat to reset the whole bird feeder. I think that's what I will do. And we're going to be able to pick up a ton of nectar here. Let's discard the nuthatch. Eagle misses. No wheat for the dove. Honestly, I wasn't paying attention to that. Might have been a wheat on the nectar dice that I could have grabbed there. It's not the end of the world. Could throw down the goshawk next. My opponent, oh, they're throwing down the kiwi now. Good play by them. Not making any progress toward the round goal. It's kind of out of reach for them. They might want to grab that butcher bird. Playing the kingfisher would be terrible. 0-point bird. So I need to lay eggs and play a bird. And then the black swan can come down off the Moltoni. Did I just use food on my goshawk? Oh my gosh. I think I did. Well, that's a mistake. So I can't discard those 2 cards for eggs though, so I'm still getting the points back. And honestly, the eggs are probably a lot more useful for potential bird plays, even though we are closing in to the end of the game here. Not the end of the world. So we'll have 3 maxed out bonus cards, so we're sitting in a really good position, I think. My opponent did a good job of capitalizing on their flamingo and avoiding my avocet. But it doesn't look like they've been able to establish a really dominant engine here. Opponent gains food, no nectar. Let's lay some eggs. Discard the shrike. Discard the wattle bird. And then I can just lay eggs again. I'll spend the worm on an extra egg. And we'll play the black swan. So we've got over 100. Get 1, 2, 3, 4 eggs out the black swan. Not bad. Getting a free egg off my opponent's lay egg action finally. I think that's the second one all game. So we'll lay that on the swift. And we'll lay eggs again for our final activation. Got all our activations covered. Let's look at this here. My opponent has 0 nectar, so they can't apply any more nectar to win the nectar points. With 1 activation left in the game. So I could just discard a nectar here to bolster this out a little bit. And then throw down the black swan off the Moltoni. Maxing out our enclosure builder. And my opponent is... what did they do? They played a good 9-point bomb here. Alright, so here comes the Black Swan. Winning all 3 categories for nectar points. Black Swan lays its eggs. Clean sweep on the nectar points is always great. Alright, if you like that Moltoni's Warbler action for the 3rd time, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And let's see what happened here. Taking an early lead. We do very well on bonus cards. I think we did really well on round goals as well. And we're pulling ahead quite a bit here. Good tucks from my opponent. And the nectar points cap it off, 123 to 76. Good game to my opponent. Let's have a look at their board. Large bird, 3 points. Ooh, they missed on Oologist here. So I wonder if my Avocet scared them off that. Interesting. And a whiff on Wetland Scientist, so that may have been where the Willet was coming in. So, and a good bomb in their hand too. Too bad they couldn't get that down. Alright, thanks for watching everybody.